Thank you, Chairman Nesbitt and committee members, for allowing the Michigan Conservative Energy Forum an opportunity to testify again today. My goal today is to make sure we keep ours to less than that 5 minutes. So, our Leadership Council is made up of true conservatives who walk the walk on conservative energy solutions. Last week, you heard from our Leadership Council member and energy optimization entrepreneur, Mark Huizinga, on the importance of maintaining a strong energy optimization program. I'd also like to reiterate what was mentioned in last week's testimony, that our organization supports the efforts to expand waste-to-energy, pyrolysis, geothermal, and biodigester forms of energy production. At this time, I'd like to introduce another member of our Leadership Council, Mr. Ed Rivet, to share our organization's thoughts on the RPS implications of House Bill 4297.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and committee members. I'm pleased to represent the Michigan Conservative Energy Forum today as a member of their Leadership Council. My participation with the Energy Forum is entirely separate from my longtime work from Right to Life, with Right to Life, and Right to Life does not take positions on energy policy, just in case anybody might be a bit confused by that. So this is all the fact that I am personally all about renewable energy. I put a geothermal heating and cooling system in the house that I built 12 years ago, before renewables were as fashionable as they are today. As a heat supplement in the winter, I burn wood that I harvest and manage on my own property. And a few years back, I served as a consultant to an alternative energy company in Ann Arbor that also does energy optimization retrofits. And by now, you're very familiar with the Energy Forum's all of the above approach to energy policy. We envision an energy policy for Michigan that advances energy security, economic security, even national security, while creating opportunities for Michigan jobs and protecting our environment. Importantly, we believe these goals not only can be achieved while being guided by conservative principles, but can best be achieved through conservative solutions. As this committee deliberates on the important question of Michigan's renewable portfolio, the Conservative Energy Forum would like to offer these points. First, we must have a robust and, in my view, a still expanding component of renewable energy in Michigan's generation portfolio, and there are two reasons for this. One, fuel costs are too unpredictable to make accurate forecasts in long-range capacity planning, that 30 to 40 years when we talk about when building new plants. Renewables collectively, not any one form, but renewables collectively are a legitimate buffer against volatile fuel costs. Second, renewables allow us to be good entrepreneurs and capitalists, exploiting cost-free fuel sources like water, wind, and sun to everyone's benefit and to someone's profit. And I use that term exploit quite purposely. From an economic perspective, we're not acting rationally until we've extracted every bit of zero fuel cost generation we can at the competitive cost margin. And that's before we talk about environmental benefits of zero emission generation. So to achieve maximum benefit for all Michiganders, we should set firm targets or goals on renewables. Our belief is that the requirements upon our regulated utilities should not be considered a mandate. Governor Snyder has put forward a challenge to expand renewables to their greatest and most sensible potential, and we agree with him. The old adage is, if you aim at nothing, you're sure to hit it. And if we set no targets or goals for renewables, we are certain not to maximize their potential. Second, if the proposed plan means ensuring that renewables remain a strong component of our portfolio through the IRP process, then some sort of authoritative mechanism should be put in place. Whether it is the MPSC or the Executive Energy Agency or some other entity, someone or some agency should be empowered to see that the IRP process does not shortchange renewable energy's full potential based on short-term interests. Third, laws or regulations that are creating impediments to normal market forces should be reduced or removed. Let's get the government out of the way of expanding renewables. For example, I fail as a policy analyst to see the logic of caps on energy efficiency, distributed clean energy, and renewable self-generation. Net metering policies should be made fair and reasonable at the same time. And likewise, with a significant number of purchase power agreement contracts with renewable suppliers like hydro and biomass expiring in the near future, we should ensure their continued participation in our portfolio by properly weighting the positive factors these producers offer, namely predictable baseload, long-term sustainability, fuel cost advantage, environmental impact, and supporting our local and state economy. And finally, without wading too deeply into the retail open access issue, if Michigan is going to be fully or almost fully regulated, and thereby removing certain competitive market forces from the policy equation, then laws, regulations, and PSC authority, the IRP process, etc., should be geared toward allowing some level of competition in the production of energy in order to meet our increased capacity needs. If coal plants are going offline and new generation is becoming a necessity, consumers will be best served if the privilege of supplying purchased capacity or building new regulated capacity should go to the provider best suited to add their energy capacity to the grid. So in summary, we are far short of capturing all the potential and all the advantages of clean renewable energy. We only gain economic opportunity, energy security, and a cleaner environment as we move away from exporting our energy dollars for coal and then maximizing our homegrown renewable energy sources. As Governor Snyder has proposed, we ought to have a target and the enforcement capabilities to hit that target. Thank you, Mr. Chair and committee, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. I believe Vice Chair Lavoie has a short question.
A very long question, Mr. Chairman.
Long one? Okay.
Dread.
It's a short one. So do you support a mandate on renewables?
We can get into semantics. You can call it a target, you call it a goal, you call it a mandate. But I firmly believe that we can expand the benefit of renewables. And if we don't set some kind of target or a goal, we won't hit it. And I think to discuss the idea of a mandate, when I look at the fact that we're not going to have a market for energy because it's going to be regulated, then we have to set all those parameters. I mean, I don't know, telling you that you're going to get a 10.5% profit, you can't earn an 18, and you may not only earn a 5 because we're not in a competitive market. It sounds like we mandate how much profit people make. So we're just in a regulated system.
Well, but that's the challenge with, I think you're making a bad comparison here, to be honest with you, is that having a regulated utility market is in terms of both, distribution, in terms of generation, is making sure that there's an actual oversupply of energy for when it's needed because of the peak demands that we looked at, and that the lag time for building, whether it's renewable or whether it's non-renewable resources using hydrocarbons or nuclear, what have you, is that the lumpiness within the market signals provides a challenge in ensuring that generation is built at that time. Now the diversity, that's just hedging the bets. And it's looking like, you don't just hedge just to hedge. You hedge to try to make sure that you have the best return possible. And as you see the federal EPA rules coming down, that I think whether you call them goals, mandates, standards, et cetera, that there's going to be more renewables or more competition in terms of renewables, because if you put them side by side, whatever the cleaner, less polluting energy form is probably going to win out in the decision, the debate. And you do have oversight, and that's what the creation of the public service commissions or public utility commissions were made in the early 20th centuries, because the goal was that everybody should have power. It's the same thing with the creation of the co-ops, is that the utilities weren't going into rural areas, and so the co-ops were established to try to advance universal electricity service to everybody. And that's the thing, is that if with a deregulated market, without a supplier of last resort, not everybody would have the option of being served. So I think there's a challenge with some of the comparisons, and just for time brevity, we'd love to probably chat more offline on that. But I don't know if you have a follow-up. Sorry to interrupt.
I just want to say that for a point, Mr. Chairman, I think your question was a lot longer than mine.
Yeah, it was.
But, also,
didn't have an answer.
It's called the chairman's golden minute.
I understand. You had asked me to be brief, but so I'm looking at the last page of your thing, and those look remarkably similar to one of the bills under the Powering Michigan's Future plan, and I just want to tell you that it's okay being a conservative to support a Democratic plan. So thank you.
Careful now, careful now.
Any other questions? Not seeing any. Thank you for your time.